Hello, this is Chaff Commander Coffee, back with another episode of Dominions 4, Thrones of Ascension, RandomNationGen. We are in the middle of winter, in year 4 of the Ascension Wars, and we are now thinking about how we are going to consolidate our realm and push the final bits of Syrian resistance out of Valanis and solidify our position as the true god, Sol. Now, we still need to capture many thrones of ascension, and I am going to talk about one particular throne in this episode that we are going to start preparing to capture, and I may be able to capture it with very little effort if I use a bit of a gimmicky strategy, but I haven't used it yet. It can be quite funny, and sometimes it works really well. So, and it is something I talked about in the intro of this nation, so I'll see if anyone can figure it out before I do use it. Right, so I did talk about us casting Fate of Oedipus. We burnt the eyes out of Bifrons, the god of Lunawatia, so he is now blind unless he has some way of, well, healing his eyes, which basically requires you to be immortal or to craft new eyes. Yes, you can use construction to craft eyes. Some of the eyes are actually pretty good, but it will use up his god's accessory slots. So either way, very useful. We're still binding a few devils, but not very many. And we bound a fiend, one of these stealthy shadow demons, wherever he is now. Is he in the army set up? Oh, one of these. Aha! They're not stealthy scouts. They're in fact fiend of darkness. Dark power. Now I can't cast darkness because I don't have enough. I don't have strong death mages. They are stealthy and flying, and I don't think my Sun Pontifex. My Sun Pontifexes are stealthy. Interesting. I'm looking at their stats compared to a devil. I believe the devils are just stronger. Not necessarily. Now, there is something I can do with these, which I haven't gone over yet, and that is, blood magic has a very easy way to turn any unit into a commander. Well, not any unit, it has to be a specific one, and that type of unit is a demon. This spell here, Infernal Promotion, requires level 3 blood mage, which I don't have access to just yet, but for 30 blood slaves, which is quite expensive, you can turn a lesser demon, and they will rise into the rank of a commander. So they can command other demons, and they also sometimes they carry across magic skills that they have. So I think devils are fire mages, and I'm not sure what the Fiend of Darkness is. But if I promote one of these, I can turn him into an assassin. And he might actually make quite a good assassin. These venomous claws, it's only weak poison, but they do have 2 of them. So I may make some assassin Fiends of Darkness. They could be quite good. We'll see. So I'll keep him in the garrison, and we will use him at some point, perhaps just to test them out as assassins, see how effective they are. Now I'm going to take the flame helmet off of Badawi here, and get him to go back to casting Augury over my provinces. Apparently he can only cast it in Syria. I'm sure you can cast it elsewhere, my friend, if you tried harder. But maybe he can't. Maybe he can't. We shall see. So the flame helmet is going back onto Simai. Make sure I don't accidentally give him a... I have to be careful not to accidentally give the imps out, because I can't take them off the commander once I give them to them. So he's going to go back to binding devils, and I am now going to start handing out these imps. Alright, so you can have an imp. you can have an imp. This is going to take a little moment, but not a problem. And I will give all of these random commanders here, I'm going to give them imps as well. Now, it did take a turn off of my commanders to create these imps, but after, say, 3 turns of... So it takes one of these commanders, one of these low-level inferior pontifexes, 1 turn to craft an imp. The imp gives 3 research, so after 3 turns, the imp starts to provide more research than it costs to make, if you think about it like that. And I mean, I don't think any horrors will come to kill them for a while. It's only a chance they'll be they will get horror marked, and it's still, even once they have been horror marked, it takes a few turns before a horror actually shows up to kill them. So for a little while they will be fine. They will be just fine. I'm going to give a bunch of these wizards in Mexico the rest of the imps, and just have them. Any wizard with an imp, any of these pontifexes with an imp, they will just research. They will never do anything else, they will just research. I will not use them for crafting anymore. They will just carry on doing that. So, let's continue this turn. I'm going to carry on with the messages. Sorry, I got carried away handing items out. Let's have a look at our magic site searching. No new magic sites found with our 2 site searching spells. A proclamation from Napskabos. Troes, or Tros, the Shadow Lord, shall hereby be known as the Prophet of Annabelle. Napskabos with, I think that's like the 3rd prophet as well. We didn't find any blood slaves in Epernia. There's no unrest though, so this one wizard can carry on doing that. 19 blood slaves in Syria, which is pretty good, although we have caused quite a fair bit of unrest, so I'm going to have these guys go back to research. Captured 38 blood slaves in Mexico. The unrest has finally risen to 36, so these wizards will go back to doing some research as well. And we captured some in Brightgate, 12 in Brightgate, and only 1 unrest, so they can carry on blood hunting there. I don't want anyone to blood hunt in the capital right now. It's still got quite a lot of unrest, and I am going to need a commander to move here to sort that out, I should think. So I'm just moving some scouts around whilst I remember to do that. And you can move up to dry fields, and you can move across. Just some scout repositioning. It's not particularly important. I mean, it is important, but it's not not very exciting. But I have to do it. Back to the messages. We will. There's only been 1 battle in it. I pretty much know how this is going to go. Solve is just again cleaning up small pockets of Syrian resistance, and of course he has no problem doing that, being a 5-rank. And they rout. And we have another province on... Oh, I don't think he's actually going to be able to get the commander. No. He actually didn't get the Flame Lord. He managed to escape. Never mind. An unexpected event has occurred in Mile Deep. Famine has struck the land. Now, Mile Deep actually has quite a lot of misfortune. That will eventually go, but right now it's actually causing, with the turmoil, that's actually causing loads and loads of events. Or will cause loads of events, so yes, we need to try and get rid of that as soon as possible. I also need to remember to put some province defense in these locations. Ko-Oni. Now, Ko-Oni, I'll come back to these once I go through the rest of the messages. There was an unexpected event in Behemoth's Rest. Ore deposits have been found, and a boost in army production is expected. Behemoth's Rest being here. We found an iron mine. It produces 40 resources, enables the recruitment of scouts. And yes, we can recruit scouts here as well. There are no scouts available for recruitment. We may need to build a fort here to make use of recruiting scouts, but to be honest, I don't want a fort in Behemoth's Rest. But the resources are being siphoned by Golem Range, so Golem Range now has even more resources for amassing many goblins, which is pretty good. We can train, I think, 44 goblins, or maybe more than 44, in golem range every turn. The 3 resource cost goblins. So yes, that was all the messages. The rest is just killing brigands. So Solve, I think he's fine to just take this army out on his own. But they do have some wizards, so... And his ore ability will not work on the undead, so what I'm going to do actually is have him sit in the back corner, and I have him set to cast spells. Now he's going to cast Fire Cloud, as often as possible. And the reason is the undead have very low hit points, the long dead have very low hit points, and the ghouls are very slow. So walking through a Fire Cloud should... yes, that should kill most of them. It is quite short range though, so I may need him actually quite close up the battle. So we'll leave him in the centre. That should be fine. And he will just cast Fire Cloud, and that should be enough to kill these. However, they do have very strong Dominion here, which means his hit points will be lowered because of that. So just to be on the safe side, I am going to take my army into the Mines of Misfortune as well. And all these diseased units, these are all diseased, they are going to be used as fodder to just attack from the start, just to slow the undead advance down. These cavalry are going to be set to attack the rearmost enemies immediately. Our archers are going to just fire on the closest enemy, and our sacred units will, yes, they will be holding and attacking, so they will come in later. And these units on the flank, I'm going to move them slightly back. Other than that, we're just going to march in. Should be an easy win, easy conquest. These 2 scouts are going to be moving north. They're going to be moving towards Farwold here, where they're going to increase my vision over these lands. I'm probably going to place one of them in Snake Swamps here, and one of them in Ferra, just so that I have vision over more of who owns what, and are they... Well, I mean, Lunawatia is certainly at war with Farwold. I mean, they're sieging Shambhalak right now, so yes, Lunawatia is at war with Farwold, which is explaining why Farwold's not even trying to come south into my land. They're quite busy. Now, I got all of my wizards to move, all of my my Sun Pontifexes. Now, if they had more fire magic, I could use them to summon slightly more powerful demons. However, since they do not have very powerful fire magic, I will instead not use them to forge magic items. Now each of them can command 10 demons, so what I think I'm going to do is take a quick look at fiery imps here. So they will bind 6 imps each, and I currently have 6 wizards here. So I'm going to get all of them to bind some imps. They're quite cheap, 2 blood slaves. So they're just going to all bind imps. And they can act as... the fire imps do very small fire damage. Now I thought about how that can be useful. The fire damage is so low, it's actually not very strong against anything but lightly armed characters. However, it's still fire damage, so it will do some damage even to high protection units, I think. The advantage of it is my sacred goblins have slight fire resistance. They have fire resistance 5, and that should be enough fire resistance to absorb all of the damage from the fiery imps' attacks. So what I'm going to do is put squads of fiery imps set to fire closest behind my sacred units. And wherever the sacred units decide to participate in the battle, so if I have them up on one flank, the fiery imps will support them by dealing fire damage throughout the combat, and it shouldn't actually cause any friendly fire. Now, something to keep in mind with the fiery imps is that the fiery imps do not, they cannot fly, they do not have wings. So they will have to be cast around by my wizards. It may reduce their map movement. I'm not sure yet, but we will see. Now this commander was just picking up whatever units I had lying around. Quite a lot of heavy cavalry here actually. He's going to go pick up some more goblins in Belmar. In fact, because of that, I want to recruit some... Well, I actually want to recruit some more units in Belmar. So let's do that. I think I recruited a bunch of, yes, elite skirmishers. We'll carry on that and just recruit some more elite skirmishers. These ones are small bows. No, we'll recruit some elite skirmishers so we can get more of them. And we'll train a wizard here as well. Just to give Belmar some wizards to start doing whatever I need them to do in Belmar, perhaps. Now, the Prophet and Oakstrong are going to site search here. However, would like to get Oakstrong to start forging thistle maces. Alright. Yes, I would like to get him to start... Oh, not my Prophet, my High Priestess. Now, Belmar did have dark candles, but since we took Syria, they've actually... our Dominion has spread quite quickly. So she's just going to search for holy sites, along with Oakstrong. She might find something. Holy sites can... I think holy sites might actually be the very rarest site, but some of them are quite powerful. And they often have water gem income for some strange reason. Or blood slave income. I think there's some holy sites that provide blood slaves as well. I could be wrong there, but... Right, so these wizards can go back to researching. They were forging imps. I think I might get these 3 actually to forge some more dowsing rods, because we don't have any in the treasury, in the magic item treasury. And I could always have with some spare. I don't really see any items I would want to forge with blood magic. Maybe a weapon? I don't want to forge any fire items because I need my fire gems to go back up. I may need them for other things, just in general. Terracotta Army in particular. I may need a lot of fire gems for that. So I think I will have Kalimka here just research for the time being. Let's keep going through my wizards. I have a level 1 cleric here, priest. He just finished building the temple in Mexico. So, where does he next need to build a temple? I'm going to need a temple in Duvan, so I think he will start making his way down to Duvan. I might build a temple in Ablak just to, you know, have them spaced out sort of every 2 provinces or so in my kingdom. And the more temples I build, I'll just show you here. My Dominion is currently... Oh, it doesn't matter how many temples I build, I have a Dominion of 10 because I started my god with 10 Dominion. But every 4 temples you build, you get 1 extra Dominion strength if you don't already have 10 Dominion strength. I believe I don't think it gives your god or if you gain the 10 Dominion strength after creation. I believe it's just at creation you have to have 9 or 10 Dominion strength to give him either 1 or 3 or. But do correct me if I'm wrong there. Now, did I craft... I didn't, right. I'm going to craft a snake bladder stick, because I think it could be quite funny to give to my lumber construct. If I send him on his own into a province, he actually might be able to kill quite a few units with that, funnily enough. So that may actually be more powerful than it appears. Muhyiddini's just going to do some research. Where were you taking these goblins? I think you were taking them to Saltnerham to pick up some more men. We don't have a Scepter of Authority ready, so... I'm thinking of the other useful items I can forge with my nature gems. I am going to need nature gems to do Haruspecs, and I do need them to forge the thistle maces as well, so I don't want to spend any more nature gems. So unfortunately, I think this Lion Tribe Doctor is just going to have to do some rather useless research with only 5 research points. But he will have to do it anyway. And because I lack a Scepter of Authority, why do you have a Flame Helmet if you're casting Augury? I don't know why he had a Flame Helmet for... Oh no, he needs a Flame Helmet to cast Augury, obviously. Sorry, Pandu. That's just me being silly. Yes, cast Augury in the Underdark, do that. That's a good idea. I'm going to have this, I'm going to have Mujahideen here actually forge a Scepter of Authority for my commander here, because I do have quite a lot of men in my capital that can be moved out, and I am going to recruit some more. Now, where else would I like soldiers? Now, I'm going to send one commander, and these commanders are heading back. If I have... Oh, I do have... I'm just taking a look. We have a lot of afflicted units. A lot of afflicted units. Something to keep in mind. Lots of these goblins and warriors have wounds from the wars, which may hamper their combat ability. In fact, it most definitely will, but we'll have to see by how much over time. They will be just bulked out with fresh units. They will have quite a lot of experience, though, I should think. Now, I am aware I am going to want a laboratory here, so I think I'm going to move this mage here to build a laboratory in Bakar next turn. And the spare 400 gold I have now... No more things for my commanders to do. I do want to start getting a castle here as well. And it might be worth getting a castle, a lab, and a temple there as well. So I'm going to have this mage move out to go towards the Underdark. Now, I do need a force to patrol Syria, since I will be blood hunting it, so let's train some men in Syria. I think that's where I will spend the rest of my gold. Let's train, say, just cheap units, so low on resource cost, low on gold cost. That would be my hunters, unless, I mean, the militia are even cheaper, and they do the same job. We'll train 13 militia. That should do the trick. That should do the trick. And Belmar. Ilatos is going to pick up more men in Belmar, so if I haven't already queued to train more, well, I have queued to train more, so that's fine. I don't have a commander I really care about, do I? Ah, all these commanders are moving into Nom, so they could do with some reinforcements. Are these are all my diseased units. We're going to leave them behind again. We won't need them anymore. And they're just training, yeah, they're just training heavy cavalry. Mexico's force. We got 30 more of these spearmen. Excellent. Salius here could do with a Horn of Valor. I'll give him a bag of endless wine, though. I will do that right now. He could command quite a few more goblins. I will recruit him another 10 skirmishers. And the rest of my gold I will probably put into training archers in Sotnam, just to bulk up the archer force a little bit more. Really trying to expand the goblin armies. Now that Syria has been destroyed, we're going to need to think about building larger forces. It appears both Emilzar might have about 100 giants, and giants are quite powerful. Man for man, anyway, they are quite... they're like my Colossi, but I think they're slightly better armoured. The Emilzar giants actually have quite decent armour. So, And Modi has now begun a war with Emilzar. I think they took Kunal from them. So, there is war in the east. And my scouts will keep an eye on that. My scouts will indeed keep an eye on that. If Emozar begins to lose the war on the surface, I may just take their underground provinces. But if I do that, then Modi may set their sights on me, since I would be bordering them in 2 locations. But once I have more information about this war going on in Farwald, then I can decide where the best place to expand would be. Now, there are no Thrones of Ascension around here. Not until you reach here. So it doesn't help me win the game. It just removes more nations from play. The Underground wins me 2 Thrones of Ascension, which is actually very important. And there is another one in the Farron Mountains, so I believe... Ah yes, there's one in Muspel. There is one up on the mountains here, and there's one in the Sodden Merc. As well as, I believe there's 4, no, there's 3 Thrones of Ascension underwater. Which is strange, because it doesn't look like there's actually any underwater teams. There might be an underwater team up here who's just taken a very long time to expand. A very, very long time. But the underwater AI sometimes prefers to expand on land as well. So it could be possible that their kingdom is more like this, if there is an underwater nation. But there are 3 thrones underwater, so if I gain access to some high-level water mages, so if I get very lucky and random a Paramount Sun Pontifex with 2 water magic, I mean it would be very, very, very rare, but if I do get one, then I would be able to start getting more aquatic units, and I perhaps could conquer these sea thrones, and that might be enough. It may be enough. So we shall see, but it looks like after the underground, eastward is the most likely expansion route for me. It is most likely. Now the last thing I want to discuss on this turn before I end the video is how I intend on taking this very large throne defense here. There are a lot of vine men. A lot of vine men. And a Great Mother, who will probably cast some very powerful nature magic such as Mass Regeneration, or Marble Warriors, like a very powerful earth spell like Marble Warriors on the army. So this is going to be quite difficult. However, with my vast number of blood slaves, and I have a lot of these level 1 wizards lying around, as well as having blood magic research up to at least level 2. Yes, this plan only requires level 2 blood magic. I have access to this spell, Hell Power. By sacrificing a large number of slaves, the caster attracts attention from the Netherworld. Fiends from beyond grant the caster tremendous physical and magical power, magic bonus 2, for 1 battle. The price for this power is unwanted attention from other horrors. For every minute the battle lasts, there is a chance that a horror will materialize in the vicinity of the caster. Now, this allows you to make some, well, firstly it allows you to make some interesting thugs that enter the battle. If they have quite high level blood magic, they can cast Hell Power to boost their magic and their physical strength. And then if they're strong enough, they can just kill the horrors that spawn as well. But it does horror mark them, so it's temporary at best. You might use it if you need to boost a thug to kill a super combatant. If you make a specialized thug to kill a super combatant, then hell powering them might be a decent idea. But I'm going to be using it to create a hell power bomb. Think of it as like a Dominions4 nuclear bomb, if you would. The power of a hell power bomb depends on how many wizards you want to use. So it can be as powerful as you want. And the power within it relies not in the magic bonus that it grants, but the fact that it horror marks your wizards. Now, whenever a Sabbath Master casts a buff on himself, he also applies it to all of the slaves in the Sabbath. So, not only does he buff his own magic power by 2 and horror marks himself, he also buffs the magic power of all slaves by 2, but more importantly, he horror marks every slave on the battlefield. Now, if you have, say, 10 slaves and 2 masters, you can horror mark every 10 of those slaves and both masters twice every turn. If you have 30 slaves and 5 masters, you can horror mark all 30 of them 5 times a turn, causing a huge swath of horrors to appear, which will destroy everything on the battlefield, hopefully. Unless the army is powerful enough to deal with those many horrors, which isn't very often. It is very expensive though, because the wizards will die. There are some things that you can do, such as if you have an astral mage lead the Sabbath, after 5 turns of casting Hell Power, he can cast, or like 4 turns of casting Hell Power, he can cast Returning to try to get as many of your wizards back to the capital as possible. But a bunch of them will get lost in the astral, and all of them will be horror marked anyway, so what's the point? Just let them die. And since I have such easy access to very low level cheap wizards, I can create a very large Sabbath, and yes, Hell Power Bomb this Throne of Ascension, and see how it goes. Now, doing some basic calculations, if I take 10 of these wizards, it's going to cost me 400 gold, effectively. They cost 40 gold each. So I think I can afford... I have an income of 2,400. My upkeep is 1,000, so I have effectively 1,400 gold per turn that are free to spend. Now, I wouldn't mind reducing my upkeep a bit. Now, this will cut into my research, obviously, because I'll be losing a bunch of wizards. But I will be capturing a Throne of Ascension, and I have a strong suspicion that this is the level 3 Throne of Ascension. The fabled Throne of the Sun. Now, it will give my order heat, which is bad, but it's not that bad, and the reason for that is I took Cold 3. Now, my nation actually prefers Cold 2, not Cold 3, so this will actually balance my scales out. Now, your scales are subject to the seasons, so in summer everywhere gets increased heat, and everywhere in winter gets increased cold. So in winter I will go to being Cold 3 still, and in summer I will be Cold 1. But I will always be cold all year round, so the strategic bonus of blocking mountain passes will still be in effect. But for more times during the year, my income and supplies will be stronger. So taking the Throne of the Sun is actually beneficial in that respect, so the heat is not a bad thing. It's a very powerful Dominion spreader, which is excellent, so I can cement my Dominion all over my... and it's very central, so my Dominion will become very powerful all over my central provinces, which means it should have a decent spread rate out to my borders as well. Another reason for the Throne of Sun, 3 fire gems. I can increase my ridiculous fire gem income even more. Why not? It also gives my Dominion 1+ to its growth and 1+ to its order. Now, the order will reduce the number of events that I get, but so I won't actually gain order. My Dominion will still have turmoil, but it will only be turmoil 1, and that is better. The reduction in events, I mean, I don't have luck 3, I only have luck 2, so I'm okay with the events not happening so much. So overall, the Throne of Sun would be great for me. My growth would increase, my weather scales would balance out for more times during the year, and my turmoil would reduce. So if this is the level 3 throne, this is just good all round. This is amazing, and it's a 9,000 population province. So I can blood hunt here too. If this is the level 3 throne, I am willing to pay a lot of gold to take this. And in the effort of showcasing a gimmicky, hilarious strategy, I think a Hell Power Bomb is the way to go. And I will be taking 25 wizards for it. 5 of them to cast Hell Power, and 20 of them to get horror marked terribly and die a gruesome death. So, I'm going to gather the Hell Power combo in Duvan, I think. So I need to find a bunch of level 1 mages that do not have anything important to do except die in the name of Solve. So we're going to take all these wizards. Now this may be a terrible idea. The one thing that counters horrors is if they have magic weapons. So unless the Great Mother decides to cast Weapons of Sharpness on the army, which I don't think she will, I think she's going to preference cast Nature Magic, which should be fine. Regeneration won't help against the Vine Men don't have enough health, I don't think, for regeneration to be very useful. They're not going to have... I mean, I think the Earth Gnomes don't have that amazing morale. They have a morale 30. So the fear aura on the horrors may not be very powerful. But they don't have magic weapons. I don't think the Vine Men have magic weapons either. So unless they get magic weapons, they'll find it very hard to kill the horrors. And we might even spawn some really, really ridiculous horrors like a Doom horror, which would absolutely destroy everything in this province. I don't think it would lurk there, so we should be fine. But either way, I'm going to have all my my Hell Power Bomb mages gather in Duvan. So yes, any spare mages that are not blood hunting or have imps for research, these ones are forging sanguine dowsing rods, so we'll just gather these mages here, and we'll start moving them over to Duvan as well. Again, it will take a few turns to bring everyone together. But I think after... I think these guys can move to Duvan now, and they can forge some dowsing rods whilst we're waiting for the rest of the mages to arrive. It will take a few turns. So we may have a few turns where nothing is happening, and we're just building up. But that's not a bad thing. We've been at war for, well, over a year now at least with Syria. So it was quite a lengthy war, but we won. They are down to their last province, and we're about to invade it. So, as far as I'm concerned, we have won the war. The Syrians are about to be vanquished, and I would very much like to see that message. So, let us end the turn. There's quite a lot of battles going on this turn. And random events. Right. And there is a very exciting message on this screen, so I will leave that for next episode. It's been me, Chaff Commander Coffee. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.